Hey folks, your boy Rob here on the 2014 Yamaha Super Tenere, and I just wanted to do a quick video to celebrate my 10 years of ownership of the Yamaha Super Tenere. Back in August of 2014, when I was still living in Virginia, I went up to West Virginia to purchase this bad boy, and I've had absolutely no regrets about my purchase. Now, just to give you a little bit more context, I had been searching for an adventure bike from the end of 2013, and I finally made my mind maybe around April, May time frame of 2014. The idea of an adventure motorcycle always appealed to me. Number one, because of the upright seating position, the ability to tour for long distances, the ability to not only ride on the road but also on gravel roads and dirt. Just seemed to be a pretty good choice for me because I like the versatility of being able to do all those things. So after a lot of researching other bikes, adventure motorcycles at the time, such as the 1200 GS and the GSA, KTM's Super Adventure, Triumph Tiger, and a few other models at the time, finally settled on the Yamaha Super Tenere. And like I said, no regrets on that choice. It's been super solid and reliable. A lot of good rides, whether it be commuting or long distance trips. And yeah, man, I've been extremely happy. So let me just give you my view on some of the rationale that I have for saying that this is an awesome bike. Give you an idea of the mods that I've done with this bike. I've done absolutely zero modifications with regards to performance. I didn't upgrade the exhaust. I didn't flash the ECU. I didn't do any of it. So for the most part, this bike is stock. Now I've made some adjustments here and there, added farkles, which help improve safety, added some driving lights to the front, added some rear tail lights, and they're integrated into my side cases from Add More. I've of course added some crash bars. But other than that, this bad boy is pretty stocked. So yeah, of course, there's a lot of other bikes out there that are faster, more capable in the twisties. But I tell you what, this bike here is the jack of all trades. In terms of road use, I've commuted with this bike for, of course, over 10 years. Performed well in that regard. I've had this bike on multiple trips. I've done multiple 500-600 mile days on this bike, to include a 935 mile day from Durango, Colorado, back here to San Antonio, Texas, and to include a 1,080 mile Saddle Sore 1000 a few years back. And it performed okay. It performed well. At the time, I was about 50. I had just turned 50. And to ride a Saddle Sore 1000 on an adventure bike, I think it's a pretty good deal. Doing it on a tour like the Honda Goldwing, that's one thing, but on a Super Tenere. That's another thing, but I had no issues. I wasn't hurting that bad. You know, just a little soreness on my back, but no big deal. But it performed very well. In terms of performance in the twisties, yeah, I've had this bike on the curvy mountain roads of Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, and I'll tell you what, this thing has performed very well. Can this bike overtake traffic, you know, semis or other motorcycles? There are a lot of other better bikes at it, like my S1000 XR, but it does well. It has enough torque, enough power to get out of trouble if need be, and it's no slouch. A lot of people sleep on a Super Tenere, but it performs pretty well. In terms of riding in the dirt, haven't had much opportunity here in Texas because it seems like all the land in Texas is privately owned, so it's not like some of the other states out in the West where you have plenty of public lands to do some riding on. But went out to New Mexico and had a chance to do some dirt riding, and yeah, this bad boy did pretty well. It was me, another Super Tenere rider, and a guy on the Africa Twin. And man, that was a blast. That was a good time. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing anything super technical on this bike in terms of off-road riding. There are better bikes out there, lighter bikes out there, because this bike is a pig. Weighs close to 600 pounds, so keep that in mind. But it's no slouch. It does fairly well on gravel roads and pretty tame dirt roads. So yeah, this bike has been a jack of all trades. A jack of all trades, man. Now, in terms of aesthetics, it's not the prettiest bike in the world, but it's not the ugliest bike either. It looks, to me, it looks pretty aggressive. 1250 GSA is probably the best looking adventure bike out there. I don't know what they did with the 1300. Especially that 2024 1300 GSA. That thing is, in my opinion, ugly, but it's all subjective. But this bike isn't bad looking at all. I don't think any adventure bike is particularly attractive, but it is what it is. Now, there are two main reasons why I've held on to this motorcycle. Number one, the maintainability of this motorcycle. It is so easy to maintain this motorcycle yourself without having to rely on a dealer to do everything. The oil and filter changes, the gear oil change, the coolant change or the flush, brake fluid flush, ABS cycle, changing out the brake pads, air filter, swap out, spark plug, swap out, all that stuff is pretty easy. And you can do it easily by yourself, especially if you have a service manual. The only thing that I will leave up to someone else because I just don't have the time or the patience is the valve check and the fork service. I just don't have the time or the patience for that, but everything else you can do yourself. And I'm not the best mechanic around, but even I can maintain this bike pretty easily myself without much of a hassle. Now, there are a lot of other bikes out there with a lot more technology where it almost seems like you have to take it to the dealer a lot more often, but this bike, aside from the first service and maybe the valve check, you can do pretty much everything on your own. The second reason why I've held on to this bike for so very long is because of the reliability. This thing has given me absolutely no trouble. Now, I've had two self-inflicted issues occur. The latest one being I had a leaky fork seal last year while on my on the New Mexico trip, and that was all my fault for not keeping the forks clean. Usually I go out for a ride, get it dirty, take it back, and at times I've neglected making sure everything was good to go, clean, in terms of cleanliness after the ride. But yeah, not the bike's fault. That was all on me. But aside from that, I've had absolutely no issues whatsoever on this motorcycle. None, zero, zilch. I mean, it's a good feeling to, when you're on a trip, you know as soon as you get on that bike, the moment you get on that bike, you know that the motorcycle is going to get you where you need to go without any drama. The one thing I would hate more is to save up my PTO days and my money, plan out a vacation, and halfway through the vacation be stuck on the road and have to cancel the rest of my trip. I don't see anything really that would piss me off more than to go through something like that because of a reliability issue with the bike. But that hasn't been the case with this Super Tenere. Not once has this bike left me stranded. So yeah, folks, I just wanted to give you my thoughts on this bike, and you know, after 10 years of owning it, it still rides really well, no issues, still performs very well. It's a beast, but it's fast. It's fast enough, performs well enough in the twisties, performs very well on long distance trips and commuting. And hey, if you're thinking about purchasing a Super Tenere, go for it. But anyway, that's all I got for you today. You guys stay safe out there, and I will talk to you later. Peace.